Here comes Haig and his crazy antics.
Good. Mommy camel and baby camel. Baby camel says to mommy camel. Mommy camel. Oh, back in. Start again. Cut! Cut! Cut!
The pressure's got to.
I've only got 10% to eat.
Okay.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Mommy back. Cut! Okay. Mommy camel and baby camel. Baby camel says to mommy camel. She says, Mum, why have I got these big long eyelashes? As if it was when we were going through the desert. It stops the sand blowing in our eyes if there's a sandstorm and stuff. Oh, they'll be handy. Mummy, she says, yeah, she says, why have I got these big hooves? She went, oh, because when you're going over the sand, it stops us sinking in the sand, so when we're going over the dunes, we don't fall, basically. She went, oh, then we're going to handy. She said, well, why have I got this big hump on my back? She said, oh, when you're going through the desert, it stops us dehydration, so it'll save our lives. So, well, it's good, Mum, but what the fuck am I doing in the zoo?
Hello there, welcome to Genesis Molds. My name is Bob Waldron and welcome to another tips and tricks. Our tips and tricks for today is going to be how to take care of your paints. Now, as you can see behind me, loads and loads of paints, and taking care of them is, it is kind of like a simple task, but in the same time, you need to know a few of the ins and outs about it. For instance, the one thing we're probably going to come across most likely with paints is them drying up, or basically paints are sort of like a formula of pigments, some sort of a medium and some sort of a thinners, right? So what tends to happen is, give it maybe a year or two sitting on your shelf, not being opened at all once, the pigments will start to sink to the bottom, the thinners basically goes to the top, and you get this kind of like very watery mix at the top, and you get all this gloopy hard stuff at the bottom. Now with acrylic paints, we can take care of them. Enamel paints, they can actually dry rock hard at the bottom, so they do kind of have a bit of a shelf life, but we can put a few more years on our paint by doing a few things to take care of them. So what we're going to do is, I'm just going to show you this one here that has been sitting on the shelf. As you can see, this is supposed to, well, this is by Citadel, for instance, and this is supposed to be this nice sort of green, as you can see on the side there, but you can see how it's separated, and we've got this sort of darker kind of blue at the top and this sort of really light kind of green thing going on at the bottom. So what you kind of need to do is mix them up. Now, giving them a good shake, kind of normally does the trick if you use them a lot, but I haven't used this one for however long. Actually, I think it was a new pot of paint, to be fair. It needs a bit more to it. Now, in these cases, we can come along with, cocktail sticks, give them a good stir. But as I say, it's been sat on the shelf for quite a while. It needs a little bit more, so it is a good idea to get yourself some sort of tool for the job. Me personally, I have this Badger Airbrush.co paint mixer. There's different types out there, some similar to this where it's just like battery powered and it stirs it, as you can see. I've seen ones where it's like a little box and you strap it in and it shakes it like mad. I've seen some of you guys go off and actually make your own, where you get like one of those saw things, and you kind of put an attachment on the end and you put the paint in the attachment and it just shakes it like this. You know, I mean, they're all pretty sort of fine. Any one kind of do, but really you need something specifically for it that really gives it some. Now when using this one, you can get paint sort of spin out and splatter everywhere, so always a good idea to get a kitchen paper towel. I'll just show you kind of how bad this one is. If I just sort of dip this in, right, you can sort of see that really dark blue, and that dark blue is nowhere near the colour it's supposed to be. And we've got these like sort of big chunks, as I just pulled out just here. You can see this little sort of chunk maybe on the side, and we want to sort of get that all looking sort of nice. So when I mix this up, it's gonna change the colour basically, because our dark blue and green are going to sort of mix together, and we should end up with the colour it's supposed to be. So getting a kitchen paper towel, wrapping it around, so as you can see, right, it's going to stop any paint from going anywhere, but we've got a nice sort of bit of a hole there where we can just pop our little tool in, and then we just simply turn it on. And it is a case of just working this for a bit, right, spinning it around, keeping it on, and it should mix it up all nice. And the kitchen paper towel stopping any splatter from going anywhere. So maybe stop and have a check and just look how it's coming, and that's actually looking good. And then we just want to unwrap this without spilling it. You can still see a few little blue bits on the top there, but really that is what we're after. It's all nicely mixed up, we've got no sort of lumps going on. The colour has slightly darkened because they've mixed together, and that should now be all good for painting. Another little tip is little pot of water just off camera, just dip it in there, maybe sort of make sure it doesn't splatter anywhere, and we should, you know, clean that off pretty good. Now you might also come along with another little problem. So another little tip as well is, if you ever have the paint is dry, this one was quite wet but it had separated, but then you can have some paints that they've really sort of gone dry. There's no sort of nice thin watery thinners at the top, it's just gone all nice and horribly dry. What we can do is, you can pretty much most of the time just add some nice clean distilled water to it. Just add a bit at a time, mix it until you get it to that right thickness it's supposed to be. But pretty much what you want to really be doing is actually using the manufacturer's thinners. So for instance, we have Tamiya's X20A. So I'd get out a pot of, you know, Tamiya paint, and it's dried up, say, I'd add some of the X20A. You know, really try and use their thinners, because if you don't know all your thinners and stuff, you could use one thinners for one paint and it looks all nice, but a month later it's all separated, it's gone all horrible, it's totally unusable. So try and stick with their thinners if you ever come up with a situation like that. So hopefully you've learned a few things from these tips and tricks here. Just, you know, looking after your paints and everything, just keep them nicely mixed, nicely thin to the right consistency, and they should last you a fair while. So hopefully you've enjoyed this. So until next time, my name is Bob Warden, Models, and I hope you've enjoyed.